Yo, what is going on, y'all? Welcome into Cardinalytics, an Arizona Cardinals podcast hosted by fans for the fans here on November 13th, 2024. A couple of days removed from the Arizona Cardinals' four victories in a row versus the New York Jets at home, winning their, I believe this is our fourth win at home this year. And just,
Yep.
going from what we've gone through the last couple of years at home, it's good to see. I'm glad for the guys. Here joined by my co-host here, Shad, and one of my now recently famed co-hosts, Kyler Murray Wins. Jake,
Celebrity, man.
how are you feeling today?
Oh,
Anybody,
crazy,
if you
bro.
don't know, Jake was just recently featured in K1's latest vlog. He was the fan inside of the window. Jake, how are you feeling after that big dub? He takes a nice chug right there.
Dude, I feeling over the moon, bro. Was telling these boys pre-show, like this was hours after the game. Like Kyler had already done his met the fans, met the service men and women and their families, met with the media, chopped it up with his dad for a bit. So this was hours after, bro, and this guy still, like, you couldn't see it in the video. We talked for minute or two, but he obviously got the highlights, or his editor got the highlights of the interaction there. So much respect, bro. So much love and appreciation for this dude. After all that, bro, just to like make time for the fans, and just it was good vibes, bro. Like it was a very very just great moment, man. One of the highlights of my time. In general. Like
Mhm.
it was crazy, bro. So can't say enough good things about this guy on the field, off the field, just a total bro. So that was special.
Yeah, like I told you, I was super happy for you. Like I couldn't even picture, imagine like your feelings and emotions. I mean, I could low key actually, I did picture your emotions. Just you're able to find them, track them, and then you next thing you know, you see them next to you. Like, what do I say? But it's like
Yeah.
you said, you collected yourself pretty well, and I'm like I said, I was so happy for you. Tell me, other co-host Sean, how you feeling today? 4 wins in a row. You predicted this Jets dub. I got a nice special presentation for the stream for everybody. So how are you feeling after that Jets dub right there?
Nah, man, I'm feeling great, bro. Obviously, bro, this was the game that I had circled on the schedule that, like, if we didn't win one game this year, we was gonna win this one.
Hmm.
And man, it just felt good just going out, or just watching the team go out there and really do what and we all expected them to do, which was go out there and dominate that game.
Yes, sir.
Um, Man, I don't know, man. It just felt good. It just felt good. And then to see Jake, to see you meeting Kyler like that afterwards, man, that's kind of like the cherry on top. Honestly, that was like the highlight of the week. Like
Appreciate you,
fuck the
bro.
game. Like you
Appreciate you,
know what
bro.
I'm saying? Like, yeah, so that's dope. Yeah.
Literally. So let's
Special.
let's I would love to run it back with everybody here on the stream because as I said, like my co-hosts that here definitely ran the table and called their shots, and then they I just gotta run the video. Let's just run the video, fellas. And
Okay, so
He
Corey
was
said call him crazy, but he thinks our secondary, barring health, finishes as a top 10ish unit. He also says the pass rush may be bad, but he thinks Pat, Tony, Nick Rallis, and JG will have that back end strapped.
dude. Honestly, I respect Corey's his ball knowing. So
Corey knows ball.
I was gonna say, if he's saying that, like, that gives me some hope. I like the cornerbacks from a lot. I was just defending them to my cousin the other day, but top
Mhm.
10 would be special, man. I'm gonna put my faith in Corey on that one, and hope for the best.
The
So
Jets, though, I we talked about this in the last pod. This is the one game that I feel the most confident. Like if I had to bet everything, like my entire savings on Kyler Murray props, like yards, touchdowns, everything. I feel like against Aaron Rodgers at home, there's no way Kyler doesn't ball out. Like no way. And Aaron Rodgers is Kyler Murray's favorite quarterback. Like he's gonna go out there, he's gonna prepare, he's gonna do everything that he has to do to make sure he goes out there and ball out. And so I don't think there's any way we lose to the Jets at home. So I got us
yeah,
winning that. I feel like this game, for the most part, I'll say this. As long as we're in the game with a chance to win the game and Kyler has the ball in his hands, I don't think that we're going to lose. You give him that opportunity, I don't think we're going to lose this game. I feel like a lot of Cardinals fans remember the game against Green Bay, like how you kind of just mentioned when we were 7-0 going into that home game. I honestly like this matchup for our defense because he's not going to be getting out the pocket, doing anything crazy. I'm excited to see what Garrett does against Devontae Adams in the slot, Max against Garrett Wilson. The most confidence in this group for this game, man. Like I don't know. I ride with Kyler, and I know he's gonna be prepared.
Gonna get to Rodgers. Like I'm talking like I'm predicting probably 3+ sacks in this game. Like the guy is not mobile whatsoever. It's gonna happen. Just don't give Rodgers time to sit in the pocket because eventually someone's gonna be open. If we can get to him, at an early time, I think we could see a lot of dysfunction in that offense.
If you go out and win this game, you win this game decisively, or you win this game even by not squeaking it out with a Chad Ryland kick, but actually winning the game by a full score or a touchdown. Like you're putting yourself on the map as one of those teams in the NFL that is a legit football team.
I'm gonna go Cardinals over the Jets, almost the Packers again. I'm gonna say I gotta go 31-23. I think I do think that we go 1 field goal, 4 touchdowns. Kyler gets 3 of them.
What can I say? What can I say? It sounds like a lot of people were right on this podcast here. Just wanted to clap you boys out, shout you boys out. You all called it perfectly. Shaw, you've been calling this for 2 months now, probably an entire year now. Jake, right on the money, 31 points, 1 field goal, 4 touchdowns, 3 from Kyler. Right on the money. Shout out you boys. That was a great dub. Let's get right into it, man. I want to hear from you all. Like me personally, like I've enjoyed it, but I want to hear from you all. How are you feeling about this Jets dub? Starting on offense, Kyler, offensive player of the week in the NFC. The guy played almost a masterful game. One of the most perfect games in franchise history, breaking Kurt Warner's record of 17 straight. How are you all feeling about that dub on Sunday?
It's crazy. I was gonna say it's crazy. I think he had a perfect game this year, but like this didn't go down labeled as a perfect game, which is kind of weird because he only missed 2 passes all game. But like, man, Kyler said it after the game in his little vlog. Like it was damn near perfect. Like, and from the get go, like the game just never felt like it was, in any shape or form or any fashion, like going towards the Jets way. Like it was just pure domination, man. And it's something that like we haven't seen from this team, this type of consistency in a long time. And we haven't seen it like at this stage in the season in a long time. So like, man, it was just a joy to watch. Like there was literally they couldn't do anything wrong on offense, and the defense again, like having given up a touchdown in 3 straight games at home, like balled out. Like Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself, and that's what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense made sure that he looked like that. Like it was no get right game this week. Man, shout out to everybody, bro. Shout out to Kyler, shout out to Trey McBride, shout out to Marv, shout out to James Conner, shout out to everybody on the offense. Shout out to Rabbit on the defense for stepping in with JT going. He balled out too. Shout out to Baron Browning coming in, making an impact week 1. Man, everything just looks good. Like it's just a great finish to the first half of the season. Now we're going to a bye week, and hopefully we can keep this going after the bye week.
Yeah, Jake, talk to me. Kyler's performance. I mean, that was literally on the money type of stuff. You were in the house. How was your perspective of that performance?
Dude, I mean, you already know what I'm going to say. Like, it just doesn't – that's – watching that's what you're watching an MVP candidate, like, at work. Like, you knew he was – I mentioned it last week. You knew he was frustrated. We pounded the Bears. He didn't get to really do anything. Like, he threw for 150 yards 2 weeks ago, and, like, he wants to play, bro. Like, we all know it. You hear his dad talking about it. Like, dude, he wants to play. just a couple quick stats as I got it pulled up here. Aaron Rodgers, 23.7 QBR and a 72.4 rating. Kyler, 95.9 QBR, 126.7 rating. Like, he absolutely destroyed his idol, which is crazy to see. And then just to touch on, like, bro, something I wanted to shout out to, like, Kyler rushing, 3 rushes, 21 yards, bro. That one rush that he had, little fake, bootleg out to the left, took the slide, kept the clock rolling. Like, dude, that was so just crafty and such an intelligent play. Like, dude, there was plenty of time left in the game at that point. Like, we were killing him. He could have just run out of bounds, avoided any type of contact. This guy full on slide into second base to keep that clock going. He's like, let's get out of here. Let's stay healthy. Like, let's just get, like, we are killing these guys. Let's just get this over with. It's little things like that that show you this guy's got some great coaches in his corner, and he has come a very long way as an elite quarterback in the NFL. Bro, 22 of 24 passing for 266 and a touch. 2 things. This man could have had another 2 passing touchdowns. Like, Connor, he should have reached. Kyler even said it in his presser, like, I wish he reached for that one. Yeah. Because we all thought, bro, at the game, like, everyone thought he was clearly in, and obviously he wasn't. I don't know if you guys caught this on TV, but, like, the ref literally said, I think it was Hussey, he was like, the runner has failed to reach the goal line, his left butt cheek, like, touched down before the end zone. And, bro, the entire stadium was just losing it. Like, that was hilarious. But, bro, literally from, I think that was the second or the third play of the game.
Yeah.
Dude, you knew, like, it's going to be one of these games. Like, they were just on, bro. Like, every little detail. But obviously, Kyler specifically, man, 22 of 24. He missed his first throw of the game, and Trey McBride low-key dropped the touchdown. Outside of that, bro, this guy was just throwing dimes. And I don't know how you guys feel about Kurt Benkert. He's like the old, like, backup for the Packers.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of heat on social media for just not kind of being like a Dan Orlovsky type guy, but he broke down the film of Kyler. It was honestly great, bro. He was even saying, like, on some of the checkdowns, he's like, yeah, like, this is a check down, but, like, it's a smart play. Like, he's not forcing stuff. He's taking the easy completion, doing the chains. So, bro, Kyler, he's always had the talent, the ability, but at this point in time, like year 6, we're seeing a guy that has married the physical with the mental. I would even go as far to say with the emotional as well. Like, that's the triple threat. Like, this dude, he loves his teammates, which is great to see. Like, he notoriously was criticized for being, like, not like a super team guy, right? Like, bro, he loves his teammates. If you watch the YouTube videos, which obviously we all do, like, you see that. Like, that's great to see, bro. Like, these guys truly are brothers. It's not just like you go into the office and you see your coworker type of deal. Like, these guys are fighting for each other. But back to what I was saying, like, he's got all the physical ability in the world. In my opinion, he's the most talented quarterback in the league, right up there with Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, whatever. Burrow. Now he's got the mental side of it too. Like, he's being so smart with the ball. He's not forcing stuff. He has 3 picks on the year, and, like, I feel like really only 1 or maybe 2 were his fault. Speaking of, bro, the hit that he took off the left edge, like, absolutely smoked as hard as a quarterback can be hit. He did, the ball, of course, jarred right down on top of it, bro. You didn't even realize that he fumbled it. But in the stat sheet, bro, he fumbled and recovered his own fumble. So, dude, he's playing at a very elite level. It gives me a lot of confidence. Like, the rest of the games going forward, there's not a game I see on the schedule where I'm like, like, we're probably not going to win that game. Like, he's playing the way he's playing, bro. Like, you genuinely feel like we are going to be in or win every game. So it's special, bro.
Yeah, all facts on what you just said right there. Like, his play and all, just the offense in general. Like, I can't wait to get into it real quick. Before I got some comments right here, Dana. Appreciate you stopping through as always. You said bye week, Seahawks versus 49ers. One of them has to lose. That is a fact. Rams facing a pass team with a decent D and had some offensive struggles last week. So we could be looking at, hopefully 2 losses in the division with the Rams losing again. Who knows? Let's see what the Pats do, Jake. I know you're a Boston guy. Yeah. So I know it should be rowdy out there. They just went out and got a win versus Caleb in Chicago. So it should be rowdy in Boston.
I'll give a quick shout out to the boys back home in Boston. Was texting them earlier this week. Really need a W out of them this weekend. And that kid Drake May, bro, is balling over there. He's playing really well.
He's been hooping.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
Definitely. She also wanted to shout out the offensive line. we'll get into it obviously with offense, but like that they are playing out of their minds. Obviously, like you see some of the metric scores, especially from ESPN, for some reason they kind of hate them. I don't really know why. Like I saw that on Twitter today, but like everywhere else has them very highly ranked as a unit, and AQ Shipley shouting them out on Pat McAfee. They're working as a unit. Froholt's getting out athletic, proven to be one of the best centers in the best centers in the NFL, definitely highly underrated. PJJ, that consistency at left tackle. Evan Brown, one of the best free agent signings, almost for like $2 million. So shout out to Monty. Kelvin Beachum, drinking from the fountain of youth. Keep drinking from that because he's playing like out of his mind, honestly, at right tackle. And then Tristan Colon and Isaiah Adams, when they both get in there, stalwarts out there at the right guard position, making up for the Will Hernandez loss. And you're seeing what his offensive line is doing without some of their key pieces in Will Hernandez and Jonah Williams, and still creating holes and protecting Kyler. Kyler's the least hit quarterback in the NFL, so this offensive line is definitely going to work. I don't know the offensive line's coach's name. I think it for some reason I want to say Clayton Adams, but I would have to look that up. But shout out to him. He's got that group rolling, and as long as this offensive line is tops in the league, this team will continue to be offensively tops in the league. So shout out to them. She also said he and Petzing, I think she's talking about Kyler right here. Kyler and Petzing are getting on the same page about reads and routes, and he didn't try and force it this week. And that's 1,000% true. I feel like he hasn't tried to force it in like the last couple of weeks, like really mostly all season, outside of probably that one pick against Detroit was probably like the most forceful ball that he's had throughout this year. Outside of, sometimes he tried to force it to Marvin a couple of times just to get him going. But in terms of the entirety of the season, Kyler's kind of playing in structure, and that's kind of like how I felt about this offense. I mean, you look at this offense on Sunday, like they only had the ball 7 times, 5 possessions they score, on the first 5 possessions they score points, on the 6th possession they punt, and then on the 7th possession it's Clayton Tune in the backups. And like I don't like that's extremely like efficient. And I was having a conversation with people like this offense isn't a deep shot offense. Take the chances down the field offense, and hopefully it can be that with more pieces added and more dimensions and layers added to the offense. But this is a real chunky, work your way down the field, ball control, ball possession offense, and it favors to have like an athlete / like dynamic player running that offense, because we always mention this with like a Purdy. It's like Purdy, he runs such a smooth offense in San Francisco, but it's like Purdy doesn't have the athletic ability of Kyler Murray to make it pop at sometimes. And you're kind of seeing now like an offense that's in structure with a dynamic player at that position. Like he's now making it look more grand than what a lot of other people would look like with this offense. So this performance on Sunday to me for Kyler was just like his I don't know how to say it, and I'm not going to try to say it, but the Mona Lisa, whatever they call it, the magnum opus, whatever it is. That's literally one of his best performances of his career, just because you can see that it's all like Jake mentioned, like it's marrying together. Everything is just coming together for the kid, and along with the maturity of just being a natural born leader, like the entire team loves the guy. Like you watch these vlogs, like having the running backs over, like not a lot of quarterbacks just have the running backs over. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll have they'll take the offensive line to dinner, they'll go out the receivers, but like just bringing the running backs over to his crib and just chilling out, just hanging out, like those are the natural steps of a leader that was going to happen in his life, but it just kind of took longer than some people may see it from other people and stuff like that. So Kyler, we can't say more about his maturity, his growth, and just how his level of play is this year. Like it's not erratic at all. It's smooth, consistent, and really putting the pieces together for hopefully a run down the end of the stretch this year. So offensively,
it seems like he just keeps.
I
I was gonna say it seems like he just keeps upping his game this season. Like he'll have one good game and then he'll follow it up with a better game, and then we're here saying the same thing. Like, hey, this is the best game we've seen Kyler play, and then the next game he goes out and plays a better game. So
and it's
crazy.
like at this point, like I say, he won Offensive Player of the Week, but this feels like it should have been his second from that Week 2 performance as well. But just how he's maneuvering himself, like I don't know what magic elixir Jonathan Gannon has, and just the words that he can say. Like that's one thing that I kind of am upset about, is that we don't see any type of inside look into like locker room speeches, and we've literally watched him give maybe 2 speeches throughout his entirety of his time on the team. But like I would love to see that. AZ Cardinals, I don't know who's running the media now, but I think us as the fans would love to see what type of words Jonathan Gannon is speaking to these
You
players
want
because these
you want
guys
to see
are
them fire? You want to see
these
them fire in his gut
these
speeches?
these guys are super like bought into exactly what he's saying and teaching them and preaching to them because it's like you can see it out there on Sundays. Like these guys are going out there and they're not taking, as he mentioned, they're not taking any bullshit and they're not going out there lackadaisical and laying down. They're going to fight somebody out there on every Sunday. And if another team outfights you, out talent you, then so be it. But if you don't, then we're going to come with our all, and it's not going to be pretty for your football team as the last two teams have seen with this football team. So just happy where we are right now. Offensively, as we mentioned, I know Dana mentioned it, but a name that we haven't mentioned in a long time was Drew Petzing. It's been a couple of weeks since we've even cared about him. So I know, I know about a month and a half ago, a lot of people, including myself, wanted him gone. But at the same time, like we're looking at this guy like he's putting it together now. Is it maybe Kyler's putting it together, or the receivers finding their niche, or is just like a perfect marriage as of right now with them play calling and execution and players being where they needed to be, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess like I was about to say, I guess we're used to things faltering in the end and things like being good in the beginning. And this year was just a little rough in the beginning, and we had expectations. So that always that always leads to different conversations. But it looks like now he's kind of settling in, just like how Kyler has settled into the season, and how everybody honestly on the offense has settled in.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I think he's earned himself a couple of weeks of just kind of, I don't want to say praise, but like we can get off of him a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like it just
He's
he's
been
putting it together. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's definitely put it together. Like, he was an easy target, quick to blame. Obviously, we were all guilty of it. Said some brutal things about the man. So I just want to apologize. I feel like they've really got it together. And bro, you want to talk about someone that never wavered is his quarterback. Kyler always stood 10 toes down in the fact that Drew is this genius. Like he's literally said it multiple times. So it does start to seem that way. Like the O line, bro, is working in perfect chemistry and just getting shit done. And when you can beat a team with your quarterback's arm or with the rest of the team's legs, it's like, bro, that's a really good offensive coordinator. Like he's managing the personnel extremely well. And you want to know my favorite thing about this team is this year is everyone executes their role so well. Like this is not like even you want to break down to like Buddha being able to just play his traditional position and not have to like cover the entire field by himself. Like you want to talk about Tip Ryman, like this absolute freak that we can line up at tight end that we drafted, bro, who just goes in. He's got like 2 catches on the year. He loves it, bro. He's in every celebration. He's always hyping guys up, bro. He's just playing his part. He's just getting
real
in
meathead
and blowing people up, and that's what he does, bro. Like, dude, everyone is just like loving playing their.
They're all having fun.
They're all having fun, bro. And it's honestly, bro, like dare I say, like this looks like a Bill Belichick operation. Plus, they're having fun. Like it's crazy to see, bro. It's really we got a special thing going right now.
A couple of comments. Reggie came through. Appreciate you. He said, "Is this a season of destiny?" I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Is this a season of destiny right now? Overall, like it's they're putting it together. 6-4 overall, but there's still some things you want to work on. But to say this is a season of destiny, kind of, if we run the table, this is definitely a season of destiny. I don't know about you fellas. Like I'm with you, Jake. Like I said, like kind of ending this season. There is no game that I'm fearful of going forward. Like maybe the Vikings game is the one game where it's like maybe just because of the environment and where you are, but this team has gone out there and shown that they can play on the road as well. So it's going to be a fun battle up there. I would love to see that. And obviously your division games that you got on the road, LA, Seattle is not too daunting of a place, but it can be loud. LA, obviously it's not that daunting of a place. So the road tests are coming up are good, but not too crazy. But and then you got Carolina as well, so that should be pretty chill. But yeah, who knows? If this is a season of destiny, well, I mean, we'll run the table and see. I don't know. You guys tell me.
That kind of leads to a question that I wanted to ask y'all. and Jake kind of alluded to it earlier. You look at the NFC, right? And you look at the quarterbacks with how good Kyler's been playing. Like, unfortunately for Kyler, like Lamar has been playing out his mind also. So like he's the MVP front runner.
Yeah.
But is there a quarterback in the NFC that really like you look across the field, you're like, I don't think that we have a chance of beating this guy? Because I was talking to some of my friends about that the other day, and I'm like, I mean, maybe Jared Goff, but like that's really more so of like, Detroit Lions, their system, just like their team in general. But like a quarterback that I look across the field and I'm like, that person can go out there and just straight up beat us and be better than Kyler Murray today. I don't really look at any quarterback in the NFC like that.
Yeah.
Bro.
They're all on the AFC side.
Let me say this.
Yeah,
too.
they're all in the AFC.
I would completely agree with you. Like, I would have said, yeah, Jared Goff up until this past week. Like, bro, the Lions have been boat racing every team they play. Now, you can say that's not true. They just barely squeaked out a game-winning field goal against the Texans in a game that Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. So, 5 interceptions. Can you think of a game where the Lions were kind of on the precipice of losing? Yes. That was in week 3 against the Arizona Cardinals in a game that was very, very, very suspect. Like, objectively, very suspect. Like, we were a called back pick 6 turned touchdown for the offense away from beating that team, right? And even still, they beat us by 1 score. So what does that tell you? Like, maybe we're just fucking better, right? As JJ Watt said, bro. Like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, Detroit's got a great team, but dude, like, there's no one in the NFC I'm taking over Kyler. Absolutely not. After Jared Goff threw 5 picks, like, that just threw away any hope he had of winning the MVP because it's not going to happen. Like, from the NFC side, it's Kyler, and then it's Kyler versus Lamar, who's a far and away favorite. Mahomes somehow is there. I don't know how if you look at his stats.
Yeah.
Burrow's played really,
Josh Allen.
well. And Josh Allen's played really, really well. And I guess in the NFC, Baker Mayfield would be the other name to throw in there. Even Jalen Hurts, actually. I was looking at the stats. Like, bro, Hurts has been really sneaky this year. He's got 12 passing and 10 rushing. Like, I don't know how that's not talked about more, but he's balling out.
Yeah, a lot of his rushing are, we know, 1 yard sneaks.
1 yard, right? But
and that's not to discredit him as a runner. So it's personally not really a quarterback in NFC. I would think that I'm fearful of it all. Over top of Kyler, like he's in the. I feel like his play right now is putting him inside the category of the 6 through 12 that can be interchangeable in the quarterback rankings at any time, which is when it's like the Purdy's, the Hurts, the Jordan Loves, Jared Goff,
Stafford,
Stafford, those guys, like, and Kyler, like that's like a group of 6 where you can interchange those guys based on how they're playing, and right now I would consider Kyler up in that 6.
Kyler's probably the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say too, preseason Kyler to win MVP was plus 5,000. It is now down to like plus 1,200. So like, bro, if Lamar wasn't like unconscious this season, like Kyler be right there. And we still got what, 7 games to play. So, dude, anything could happen down the stretch. Anything could happen.
Classy Nasty to up to 100 emoji, I believe, for what you said earlier, Jake. So people are definitely agreeing with you as always. Dana mentioned it. She came through and said, I don't feel bad about being critical after some of the losses and the wins where the passing game wasn't working. It needed fixing. Exactly. It seems like they put in the work and study to get it right. And I'm with you too. Like they exactly put it in. They found out what kind of routes they like versus man, what kind of concepts they like versus zone, and they're kind of going to them at the right times. And most play calling, especially offensively, is what buttons are you pressing at the right times. And to me, it's always been the situational play calling for Petzing. It's always been, you have nice run schemes, but when are you pulling them out? When are you using them? Yeah, there are some times where you can draw up a nice pass play, but like, is it being used at the right time? So I think they're finding like that perfect marriage of timing for play calls, and what works best for them. Obviously, as we've seen that play action, that tight end kind of wide backside, it has now worked like twice now. Worked versus Miami. It now just worked versus the Jets. So like that's kind of one of their plays that they like as well. So shout out Trey McBride, shout out Kyler for figuring those out. Reggie said he's taking Hurts
Yeah.
over Kyler. Me personally, I mean, we saw that matchup,
Yeah.
and it kind of didn't work
Yeah,
out
we've
for
seen
Hurts
it.
at the end of it. So
I would
We've seen it a
we've seen
couple
it
of
multiple times, and I feel like none of the
Yeah.
times Hurts has never really outplayed
Yeah.
him outside of
Yeah.
like even the win that they had the one year where Philadelphia was going crazy. Like that kind of was like a 20-13. I think the score was 20-17, something like that. It was a very close score in that game. We came down to a missed kick, which is why we didn't go to overtime. So, and that was,
Yeah.
I believe that was the game where Jalen Hurts, that was like the introduction of the tush push to the world, where they did it almost every third or fourth down on
Yeah.
that last drive and ate up like 9 minutes
Yeah.
on the clock. So, that was a closer game. I think me personally, I'm not taking Hurts over Kyler, but that's just me.
Same.
Dude, I would say to Reggie, like the stats. Yeah, you can look at Hurts' stats, and it looks like he's obviously having a great year. But I think what we're debating here is there a quarterback that we would take to lead our team over Kyler out of the NFC? And we're all saying
no. Dana mentioned we need to talk about Trey Benson this week. Much improved on his vision and commitment to the gaps. The O-line made for him and did a good job. It's the number 2 this week. Absolutely, yeah. Trey Benson's his emergence coming on as the number 2
this week
back.
and last week, honestly.
His vision is getting better. His decision making is getting better. You can see, like I said, the contact balance. All the good stuff about him is always going to be there, right? The contact balance, the speed. But it's like you said, it's all putting it together under the tutelage of the running back coach. I forgot his name, but then also James Conner. Just watching him going out there being a consummate pro for the guys. Like Trey Benson, shout out to you. I said this in the chat with my guys. It's like Trey Benson, he just looks like a funny guy. I would love to, just have a lunch with Trey Benson and see what he talks about. But like you said, Trey Benson's putting it together. We're proud of him over here on Cardinalytics, and he definitely took a lot of flack earlier in the season. But if he can be that consistent 1-2 punch with him and James Conner, Jake, I think you mentioned it on Twitter. This could be like a Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs type of combo that you would have going forward.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick too, while we're on the subject from Dana, Trey Benson, 10 carries, 62 yards, along of 14, and then the passing game, 2 for 2 for 25. Like, bro, that's exactly what you want out of your number 2 back. Like, that is more than serviceable, and that is the reason why we drafted him. Not to replace James Conner, obviously not, but just to complement him. And when you can use that too, like James Conner is clearly playing like a top 8 running back in the NFL this year. Like Cardinals fans would say better. He's your bell cow, but what do we know about James Conner? Like runs like a bull in a china shop, but at the same time, like he's had the way he runs, of course you're going to get injured. Like you saw the same thing with Dave Pacheco this year. Like the way those guys run, like you're going to break your leg. Like shit's going to happen, knock on wood, right? That's not going to happen to James, but like stuff's going to happen. So when you have a guy like Trey Benson that can come in and let Conner have a rest, right? Like doesn't have to be taking 30 carries a game, just getting his body blown up every play. It's going to keep James fresh. It's going to keep him explosive. And then especially too, when you add in like Corey, this is back to your point about Petzing's like kind of situational play calling improving. Like you have James Conner in the game in the backfield and you're on the goal line instead of giving him another chance, like 3 attempts at like bashing through the line. Why not just give Kyler a QB keeper where he can walk in the end zone? So all that stuff, bro, is going to keep James Conner fresh and Benson learning under the tutelage of Conner. And then obviously the running backs coach Autry. It's good, bro. Like things are definitely trending up in the backfield.
Yeah, shout out those boys. And then Reggie also says taking Stafford to college. So
I
can't take Stafford as a Super Bowl champion in the past, but right now, no way.
Yeah,
no way.
With the age, bro, like we've seen it. Like he's not at Kyler's level right now. Like he's not even remotely close to his dynamic. You want to say better arms, sure. Stafford's got one of the biggest arms ever in history of the game. Like, dude, like Kyler is just playing too smart of ball right now to say that.
So this offense, obviously, as we mentioned, like just making a nice leeway, but the defense, I think, deserves a lot of praise, a lot of shout out. Jake, you mentioned on that celebratory victory, a little video right there was that this defense is going to have 3+ sacks. You called it. They had 3 sacks, 3 for 23. And it was a good mix of everybody. It wasn't our new addition, Baron Browning. But Baron Browning did create a lot of pressures. He did get in the backfield. So I think his sacks possibly could be coming out. And a lot of those came on 4-man rushes, but
Yep.
3 sacks. I think one was from Buda, one was from Xavier Thomas in the back end. So he's now got a sack in back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
And I forgot who got the other sack as well. But, this defense, and obviously, Charles, you mentioned it about I mentioned it about the corners earlier on. You mentioned about how they will be matching up against Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, and they did an amazing job. Garrett Williams, and Starlin Thomas, and Max Melton, and Dadrian Taylor Demerson and Buda Baker had a great day against guarding those guys. How are we feeling, defensively about this unit right now? These guys are putting it together. Nick Rawls is calling it at a great time. He's putting pressure on the quarterbacks now with 4-man rushes, but also including blitzes. I think a lot of us wanted more blitzes being added into the lineup instead of just putting, our DBs back in coverage and saying, don't beat us over the top. I think now, we're putting pressure on the quarterback and challenging receivers at the line of scrimmage. Like, how are you guys feeling defensively about this unit right now and how they're putting stuff together?
I just want to say real quick, like, obviously you intentionally left somebody's name off of there when you were going through that
Oh,
list.
yeah. You know.
Guys,
Yeah, I wasn't including him. You don't deserve praise.
I want to give a shout out though to Nick Rallis for going away from that early on in that game, because that was something that wasn't working. Or it just looked like, Sean Murphy Bunting coming back, put him in the lineup. He's not playing as well. He looks rusty. I mean, he looks like himself. And you got your young guys have been playing good, and he didn't even. I think it was one drive that he got out there, and then he was like, "Nope, we're not doing this no more," and he took him off the field. So shout out to him for that. But man, the defense did what they were supposed to do. Like, and I feel like as long as this defense continues to take strides and just continue to get reps and reps and reps, and like you're going up against like you kind of mentioned first against the Bears, against DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome. Now against and then against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Now against Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Like, you're going up against elite receivers, top receivers in the NFL. Like, these dudes are just going to keep getting better and better and better. And the addition of Baron Browning, like, a 6th-round pick, I don't know. I guess there were people complaining about us giving up a 6th-round pick. Like, clearly, like, this guy, he can ball. He can rush the passer. And he can get guys off their spot. And that's honestly, if he's not getting to the quarterback sacks, the sacks will come. But the pressures is what's most important. And you can get them off the spot. You got other guys on the defense that are capable of coming and making the play. So I just think the defense, they did what they were supposed to do, and they're just going to keep getting better more and more. More and more snaps they get.
Dana mentioned it. I thought I put it up there. The man coverage in the first quarter was nice, and this is what we've been calling for this entire of the time. Was literally like just man coverage on people. Like, we want to see man coverage. We want to get sticky coverage, because if you bump closer to the line of scrimmage, that allows pass rush more time to get home. And giving up the space was always what's giving up completions and allowing the defense to not be good. So just, the man coverage and just the bump press alignment coverage is what I'm loving from Nick Rawls right now in these corners. And Garrett Williams in the slot. What they're able to do with him, Buda, and who's up there at other safety, whether it was Rabbit this week, who have played an amazing game. We've been calling for him to play, but Jalen Thompson as well. Like, the way that they're able to mix up coverages with safeties rolling up and down, like, it confuses the quarterbacks a lot. And you can tell quarterbacks are holding the ball against us a little bit more than they like to. Tua got the ball out pretty quick, but that's just because that's their passing game. That's what they like to do. But if you flash back to Brock Purdy, how did we get so much pressure on him sometimes is he was holding the ball. He was indecisive. He wasn't knowing what to do. And you're seeing that with a lot of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Aaron Rodgers the last 2 weeks, having to hold the football because this coverage is mixing it up, whether it be man, whether it be too high. You never really know what you're getting, whether it be one high as well. So just overall, it's amazing to see what this group defense is doing. Jake, talk to me about the defense. I know you said it was up and down group so far last couple of weeks, but nothing but up. Is this a trending group going forward?
Bro, nothing but up. I want to give a couple shout outs too. I reminded me when you were going through those clips of us, from preseason. I argued with my cousin about how this defense was going to be better than people gave him credit for. We were projected to be like a bottom 3 defense again. And Corey, obviously, to your credit, like, you've been the one saying for a while, like, this can be a top defensive back group. And I thought that was a lot of hopium, honestly, at the time when you were first saying it. But I mean, you look like at this point, like, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. It's very, very pleasing to see the growth from Star Thomas, the player that he's developed into. Garrett Williams, bro, like he's playing like a stud cornerback number 1 at this point, and he's basically like he's like a redshirt freshman this year. Like he played
Yeah.
like 8 games max last year, like if that, coming off the injury. So, bro, that is super encouraging. Melton, like Max Melton, we all knew like this pod, like we were mock drafting him like preseason, right? Like he's come in and he's been a stud. And yeah, like Shot, as you were mentioning, like, bro, I think it was the second drive of the game, right? Like the Jets' first possession, like one of the first plays, and they're targeting Sean Murphy Bunting. Like,
yeah.
I'm not trying to hate on the guy, obviously, like none of us are. Like, seems like a great guy, but like, dude, he of course gets called instantly for a holding, and I'm like losing my mind in the stands, where I'm just like, dude, like it's not gonna be like this, bro. Like we've been so good. I can't even really remember like a defensive penalty in the secondary, like up until that point. And so that was super frustrating. But yeah, I remember I can't find it now, but I was looking at the snap counts, and Bunting was still out there, but like it was very like sparing. Like he wasn't like in that starting role per se. So yeah, like Shad, like you said, like that, I thought that was great out of Nick to make an adjustment there, and that was huge. But bro, like looking at these stats, we ran 57 plays to the Jets 55 plays. We doubled their total yardage with basically the same amount of plays. And we had 7 drives, they had 6 drives. We doubled their yardage. Their yardage per play was 3.8, ours was 7.1. Passing wise, more than double, right? Rushing, nearly double. Like we outclassed this team. Like we outclassed them. We made them look like a horrifically bad team, and we were a 1.5 point underdog at home. Like all the disrespect, bro. And then Corey, go back to what you were talking about earlier. You couldn't remember who had the 3rd sack. Jesse Luketa.
That's right.
Ottowa's very young.
That's right.
2 QB hits, and that was his 2nd sack of the year. So, dude, this ragtag group of like no names, as the national media loves to say about our defense, seems like every week, bro. Like I'm watching, we win another game, and they're like, "Oh, this no name defense," like blah blah. Bro, we keep making plays happen.
Xavier Thomas,
bro, with another sack, a strip sack, nonetheless, that we were able to convert and get the takeaway. And that was all. The catalyst of that was Baron Browning. Little inside spin move, boom, he's in. Rodgers has to step up in his wheelchair. He's rolling out of the backfield, and boom, Xavier Thomas is in, gets a strip. Kaiser White jumps on that thing. So, dude, the defense is firing, and everyone wanted to criticize Monty for not doing more, right? Not eating into more of our second in the league cap space going into next year. Bro, this guy's looking like a goddamn genius more and more every day, and the talking heads are looking like idiots every day.
So I wanted to say something about that too. I wanted to ask y'all something about that too. Like when it comes to that, so like obviously like Monty, you know, we have all this cap space, right? And like he didn't go out and sign like, you know, or trade for a big edge rusher. We're not an edge piece away, right? Like you look at the defense, you're not an edge away. Maybe if you're an edge away, you go do that, but this defense isn't that. As far as like, I think Corey, you kind of mentioned like there's been some rumblings of like extending Buda Baker. If they extended Buda Baker, can some of that salary this year that like we just have like cap space, can that go towards his cap hit this year? Like could that be part of the extension?
I see what you're saying, like front loaded, so it's like more so on that side. I probably would say so. Like it depends on the structure of it, but like I think that would be a great idea. Like if you can't go, because like I remember I told y'all I heard that some people were saying that possibly this Monty can go big fish hunting for whatever it could be, like, and I don't know what that means. Like who knows what names that means and stuff like that. But like obviously like they were gonna use stuff like that out there, like, or I should say they're not gonna be able to do that. Definitely, like you front load that contract, you give them 2 years heavy up front, you know, whatever the number is, that you know, have it lower at the end, so when you're getting tighter on money, it's lesser on the, you know, the cap hit. And I think like overall, that's the, you know, the decisions that are making Monty a smart GM. Like, let's see what you want to do with that, because if you want him back, let's see how you structure the contract to get him back with what you have going for you. So we'll see. You know, it'll be interesting to go for it, but I personally think that you can definitely should be able to front load that.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
gonna.
Yeah, because to me that would be like a smart play. Like if you know you're going to extend this guy or him or Connor like into next season or beyond that, like you could front load that contract and use this year's cap hit, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you don't dig into that money in the future.
Mm-hmm. So go
Yeah,
ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. If we were to go big fish hunting, like I would want a guy like a Brian Burns, honestly, specifically because that's a guy that's a 6'5", like 260-pound menace, who's 26 years old. Like I was getting a lot of heat from some Cardinals fans about like I forget who it was. Honestly, I think it was an account that I actually respect. So definitely not talking shit here, but it was something about Myles Garrett, like going after Myles Garrett for like 2 first-round picks and like a third or something. And I was like viciously against doing that. I just think between giving up 2 firsts and a third, like nonetheless, and like having to go and pay that contract, it just like to be honest too, like I think Miles is a great player and seemingly great guy, but like I don't even know if that's a fit on this team. Like he's going to be 29 pretty shortly, and I don't know, bro. It just seems like we got something brewing on this team. Like it's really outside of a guy like a Buda Baker and like fringy Kaiser White. Like there's no like huge names that are requiring like mega deals. So
Yeah.
in my opinion, if you are going to go and give one of those mega deals to a guy that's like well established, it's got to be someone youthful. Baron
Mhm.
Browning, 25, 26 years old, obviously a smaller name, but like if you're going to go make one of those splash plays, obviously it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. And I think it's got to be for a guy that's got some youth in him if you're going to give up serious capital. And honestly, too, like I'm trying to think, like some people have talked about wanting another wide receiver. I could potentially, like, it seems like Zay Jones is kind of kicked. Like
It's just there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any room for a wide receiver on this team right now. They
Well,
run too much 3
right,
tight ends to
right.
have a room for a wide receiver.
That's kind of
And also,
too as far as
y-
getting another wide receiver.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
also to that, I was gonna say like, obviously we went out and got Marv, right? And like that's somebody that you're not gonna have to pay for a long time. Wide receiver money is like the main reason why like a lot of these teams can't keep their offenses together because they
Right.
have 2 elite wide receivers and they're getting paid 30 M's. And then you also have to pay your quarterback. So it's like I feel like as long as we can keep like just one wide receiver on a big contract, which Marv obviously, if Trey McBride is the second guy, like that's cool. I mean, that's tight end money. That's nothing compared to wide receiver money. And you got Kyler on his deal, obviously. So like I don't think that they should go out and add a receiver. I just don't think it would be smart for the type of offense that
Yeah.
they're trying to run.
I
Right.
think
Spending that much money on another
yeah.
receiver.
They also they remember they drafted Tajon Palmer. Obviously, we don't think he's going to be
Mhm.
much on this team, but
Yeah.
Xavier Weaver, he also plays as well. So it's hard to know like what they were going to actually choose to do with a receiver, just because it's like this offense doesn't run through
I mean,
receiver; it runs through tight end more
and,
so. So like,
and saying that, I don't mean like I don't think that they should get another receiver because I do still think that they need like a legit deep threat.
deep
But
threat,
like
yeah.
that's not like
You can get that in the draft
elite.
with a pick.
Yeah,
You don't have
yeah,
to spend
with that in
money
the
on that.
draft. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't got to spend money on that. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, we're all there. Like, who knows what they will do with this money that's allocated? Like, obviously, if you can't go big fish hunting, obviously you want to sign the guys back, running back, and just add on with draft pieces as we can now. I feel as though if Darius Robinson is a hit, we can stop trying to question Monty draft picks. They have a purpose. Chet Ryman, like Jake, you mentioned, is just literally out there just to hit somebody. Like he's literally just out there just to Yeah, I remember they're showcasing the one whatever run scheme we had, and Tip Ryman had nobody to block, so he just looks, finds DJ Reed, and just lifts him off the ground, puts him on his ass. Like it's stuff like that where it's like you're drafting players that fit the culture that you want. It are team first guys. Like you said, he's out there only 2 catches, but he just wants to block his ass off when he's out there. Like those are the type of guys that clearly fit the system that the coach wants, that the offensive coordinator wants to run. So the GM goes out there, acquires talent that is like that at cheap, and more draft picks than Monty, the more I feel as though comfortable that they're going to make an impact. Dante Stills is still having an impact on his team as a 5th or 6th rounder. We're seeing now 5th round Xavier Thomas. This is now back-to-back years where late draft picks are making impacts for your football team. Like, so cost giving up, late round picks for talent that is considered third round pick in Baron Brown, and like it's not a bad option. Like I feel like Monty, outside of the timing of certain things, like maybe where the team may be, like he's hitting the right buttons, he's pushing the right buttons, he's making the right decisions. Him and Dave Sears and whatever they have that their scouts, like they're making the right decisions. So I'm hopeful that they can make a big move, obviously in the offseason with the money. But if not, like I'm trusting the draft process, and I'm trusting that the pieces that come in are going to be able to influence themselves on the team, not only on the football field, but off the football field and in the locker room as well. So it's a great time for us, obviously. Got a couple more comments here. It looks like Arizona Cardinals on SI. I mean, I appreciate you. This is the Arizona Cardinals Sports Illustrated. Appreciate it coming through. Keep up the great work, guys.
Yes,
Appreciate it. Charles mentioned we're going for the title this season. You do have a chief right there. I don't know if that's a chief or a Redskin. Who knows what that is? But if you're talking about the Cardinals, we are going for the title this season. So hopefully we can end up with that title from the NFC. And then obviously Dana, she mentioned Jake. Next time you see Kyler, tell him to tighten that chin strap. And yeah, it looked like it's tightening, but I think what I was telling people as well is that Kyler obviously has a lot of hair, and so like he'll tighten the chin strap, but you do also want to have it just like a couple knocks, to a little bit loose, so you can be able to take it off when needed and breathe a little bit. So I think that's why like just the jolt of him going backwards just lifted it off his face. So that was obviously a crazy hit. But yeah, she said next time meet up. Yeah. Next time you meet up out there with him, which should be the next time we have a home game, he'll have to say something.
Since y'all boys now. That's your man.
I had some buddies too, like that I was talking to about it with today, and they were like, kind of like obviously messing with me, like, oh, it seems like you've gone from like fan to friend, and I was like, I feel like more Make-A-Wish kid than friend, but I'll take it. So that was pretty funny. But I was gonna say, do you boys have any guesses on? Actually, any guesses on Trey McBride's cap hit this year? Any guesses?
This season year or next year?
This season, yeah.
Like
$2
million, if that.
1.7. Because I'm looking at it, and obviously last year or next year is the last year of his deal. It's a $2 million cap hit, but is there a chance? Like this guy is seriously playing like top 3 tight end football in the game right now. Is there any chance he holds out next year, going into the last year of his deal?
No way.
I don't think he's that type of person.
He's way too much of a team first guy.
I agree. I think he's way too much of a team first guy. However, do you know how much money, let's just say, Cole Kmet is making per year? Trey's at 1.7 right now.
I mean,
12.5.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, 17.1. Darren Waller, who's retired,
but see, 17. But see, the thing about that though is it's still not wide receiver 2 money. Like wide receiver 2 money is I mean, how much Hollywood got paid? I think he got paid $18 million for just like 1 year or something like that. But you're looking at easily like for somebody who's giving you production of Trey McBride for us, you're looking at easily like 24, 25, like and up.
I was gonna
say, like, I mean,
I'm comfortable giving Trey number 1 in the league. Like I give him 18, honestly, and Kelsey's at 17.1. I give him 18 a year on a new deal. Like he's basically a bully ball receiver that lines up at the tight end position. Like Trey McBride is like Monty has these cornerstone like guys where he's like, and JG, like this is what we want this team to be. And it's guys like Buddha, James Conner, Trey McBride, like those. You know what I mean? So I'd be comfortable paying that man for life, whatever he wants.
Yeah, whatever the top reasonable dollar of safety, I mean, not safety, tight end is, he's going to get it. I mean, I imagine as soon as the season's over, the second he's eligible, he gets that deal just because he's ingratiated himself into the culture. He's been a productive player. The offense clearly runs through him. As we were having that conversation on Twitter with a couple of people the other day, like the offense runs through him. Like the offense goes inside out, and without his effectiveness of being able to run routes. 2, his youth, he's only 24 years old. 3, like his hands, obviously, want him to get into the end zone, but his hand, I feel like last year he was in the end zone a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
He was in the end zone a lot last year.
Yeah. So it's like it's not that he doesn't have the ability to do it. It's just circumstances and making sure the scenario works out for him. So, you know, second he gets a chance, I'm definitely putting him into a nice, decent, whatever sizable contract it is for tight ends because he does deserve it, and we obviously have the money to run with it. So, Arizona Cardinals on SI per se, just appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You know, we do this every week, so appreciate you stopping through. And then Dana said Trey isn't a terrible blocker either. Yes, I agree with that. Gets caught for a hold now and again, but he isn't a liability in the run game that some are. And absolutely, I feel like all three tight ends that start, like Higgins, you know, Ryman and McBride, all can block well, and then Higgins and McBride can run routes like crazy. So it's like, their ability in both the pass game and the run game, you quite don't know what to expect inside of a look, no matter what you get, because you could get three tight ends, but you can get a verticals concept, or you can get three tight ends and you can just get, you know, the ball ran right down the middle. So hard to prepare for this offense and hard to prepare for, you know, the versatility that it has. So, but yeah, Trey McBride, shout out to you, bro. You know, held it down through your one Kingsbury year, and when they tried to bench you, we still can never forgive and understand why the very first game of the year, your first draft pick in a season, was inactive when he was healthy. That was criminal. I can never forgive them for that. But you know,
Bro,
we moved on past those things.
I'll never forget. It's just a sidebar. Trey scoring his first touchdown in the NFL. No, not his first touchdown. His first catch in the NFL. It was at the Panthers game. His rookie season. I was at that game. It was in Carolina, and this man caught the ball. Yeah, this man caught the ball like 5 yards away from the end zone and got up and celebrated like he scored like the game-winning touchdown. Like he was going insane, and I leaned over to my friend. I'm like, "Yo, that's our rookie tight end. He's going crazy right now because that's his first catch ever."
Probably like
so yeah, shout
like,
out to Trey.
They probably Jake that right there was probably your Make-A-Wish kid right there. He never felt like he was ever going to touch the field, but you know, the better coaches and better executors got him onto the field and show what he can do. So obviously, you know, this Sunday's a bye week, time to rest and relaxation. But obviously, for some of our guys, Kylie mentioned it. You know, one thing that's kind of upsetting, I can't get mad at them though. They're human beings. They go through it. But one thing that is kind of upsetting is how many players are getting away. I can't say I can't get. I'm mad at it. Obviously, like this is your profession, and so when you have a break, it's basically vacation time. Obviously, it's the middle of the season. It's just a bye week, but you know, I saw Mac Truck was in Cabo. I saw Max Melton was in, you know, Florida. Yeah. It's, you know, it's nice. I hope you enjoy your time, but I need you to stay locked in on football. I know it's, you know, it's time to relaxation and stuff like that, but I need you to stay locked in on football because this team has a chance to do something special with the rest of the season going forward. You paved the way for your team to be able to do something special. Obviously, the luck of other teams being injured, even though I feel like regardless of injuries or not, you know, some teams will still have the record they have. Like you put yourself in position to run the table, you know, battling through your hardest part of the schedule. So like, what are we looking at like for the rest of this season? 6-4, obviously we hit the marker by week 6-4. I don't think anybody nationally could have pictured this as the best case scenario. I think we all figured this would be the best case scenario in terms of the, you know, the records and certain games that we could steal and certain games that we can win. But 4-game win streak going into the bye, what can this team accomplish out of this? Like, can we easily, not easily, but can we see ourselves, you know, hoisting that NFC West Division trophy? Because that might be what it's going to take to get to the playoffs. Just can we see ourselves, you know, eclipsing those markers right there?
Yes. Yeah, bro. I mean, I remember
for sure.
Easy.
I remember talking to some guys at work many months back about the Cardinals this year, and they're calling 2-3 win team max. I worked with a guy who's a huge Seahawks fan from Seattle. He bet me that the Seahawks their record would be like obviously has been way better than the Cardinals. Had a bet with a guy who's a diehard Bears fan that said they were gonna win way more games than the Cardinals. I got shit on, bro, for months by these guys, and especially when I said that the Cardinals could win 11 games and win the division. I got historically shat on by these guys. So I'm feeling pretty good, bro, and I'm talking my shit at this point. Like this team, like we've all like looked at the remaining schedule, and like I'll pull it up now. I mean, I got a pretty good idea in my head, but just to pull it up, like kind of what we got going here the rest of the way.
I got it up. We got at Seattle,
Okay.
at Vikings,
Yep.
at home against the Seattle, home against the Patriots, at Carolina, at the Rams, and then at home against Niners.
Dude, so looking at that, I don't. It's hard for me. Like shout out Kyler Bird. I know he pops in here sometimes, but he put out like his prediction for like the final 7 games, and I like threw mine in there, and like, dude, it's tough for me to not think that like we could. I know we're not going to. I
You
can't say.
don't think you're gonna go 7-0, but it's hard not to think so.
Bro,
You're
it's hard,
rolling.
to look at a game and say like, yeah, I could see us losing this. Like,
Mhm.
dude, if I'm being honest, like obviously the Rams and the Niners are a different story, but besides those, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Pats, the Panthers, the Seahawks are the only team in between those 4 teams that really give me any sort of angst. Like, it's tough to sweep a divisional opponent. The
Yeah.
Vikings, I'm very confident. I've been telling you guys, I think we match up very well against Minnesota. The Pats are the Pat. Like they're a rebuilding team, and the Panthers are a rebuilding team. Is it crazy to say like we could go 6-1? Like I feel like at worst case scenario, this team wins 4 games and goes. You know what I mean? Goes 4-3. I just don't see us. I see that as the absolute like worst case scenario is 4-3 over the stretch. What about you guys?
Like I think I was gonna say real quick, Shaw. You can go. I was thinking like
Mhm.
inside of these first 5 games out of this, the remaining 7, like if you're able to go 4-1, like no matter the mix up, I think personally like one of the mix ups could be like you said, maybe Seattle or maybe a Minnesota. But like, if you go 4-1 in that group and like that's beating the Panthers, beating the Patriots, beating one of I guess Minnesota, one of Seattle, and get one of those Seattle games, like that's I think that the division might be locked up by that point because we know like
Yeah.
the 49ers they have to play the Bills coming up, I believe. They have to play the Lions going forward. They also have to play the Packers going forward. So those are 3 tough teams. If the Rams can't put anything together, and then the Seahawks continue to go, a little bit south, that's the path kind of right there. Like the path is kind of drawn up to have success right there. So obviously, like no team thinks they're out of the race for the division at any point because it's only one game that some of these teams are behind in the loss column. But at the same time, like there's only one team that has, I think we have the easiest schedule out of all 4 teams inside of the division. So if you can find yourselves at 4-1 outside of this break, like again, we can't picture that we're gonna win, keep winning games back to back to back. But like if they escape outside of this bye with the first 3, it's like, hold on, like this is kind of doable now, no matter what the other teams do, just because those other schedules are tougher than ours going forward. And if 49ers with Chris McCaffrey are able to put together a winning streak when they have to go against all these tough teams that are formidable, AFC opponents and formidable NFC opponents and real caliber opponents that we had to face as well, like then salute to them. They can deserve it, and then we'll meet them in week 18 to decide the division. But we could have this division wrapped up maybe by week 16 if things go right for you and you win games that you're supposed to possibly win. So that's me personally. But Shaw, I know you're about to follow up as well.
Yeah, I was about to say. Obviously, you want to just obviously you want to focus on you, and if we focus on us, and come out, and let's just say we get 4 out of the 5 first games, like how you've been talking about. For the most part, like we should have the division wrapped up by then. I've been seeing some people say like, they feel like it's going to come down to the last game of the season, us against the Niners.
It could.
And it very well could. But I at the same time, like, that might come down to us winning the division, but I feel like we're assuring to make the playoffs if we just take care of if we get 4 out of 5, which I feel like we can in terms of either split against the Seahawks or sweep the Seahawks, beat the Vikings, Patriots and Panthers. Like I think we're pretty straight to make the playoffs when it but as far as coming to winning the division, that's when you're gonna have to be able to probably sneak out another dub.
We got to win the
because
division.
I think
I
you said
think
what?
I think we have to win the division this year. I just feel like for the culture, for the fans. Let me backtrack real quick. I meant to say this earlier, but bro, being at State Farm, so I've gone since I've been here now, or since I've lived in Arizona now. I've been to 2 games. It was Monday Night Football against the Chargers and this past Sunday against the Jets. And dude, you want to talk about a massive, massive difference in home crowd fans. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys could hear it on TV, but like, bro, the Red Sea was actually back last week, and it was
Beautiful.
it was special, bro. Like
Mhm.
it was loud in there. In all like the times that you want it to be loud. So that was great to see, and like another like dominating win like that. Like, dude, I expect this game against Seattle to be pretty rowdy on both sides. I expect them to travel. But real quick, the Niners, as far as like remaining schedule, because obviously like the Rams are very much in the NFC West hunt, but they just took a brutal loss and a big step back to the Dolphins because it just puts that much more pressure on them to kind of run the table. Like they're 4-5, you know, like we've got technically, I guess, like a game and a half lead on them at this point.
Mhm.
So, but like to Shaw, to your point, like we're in a beautiful position right now where for the first time in a very long time, like we do control our destiny. We're 2-0 in the division. We have the best record in the division. It's up to us to lose the spot. And like I
Yeah.
know we're in a similar position in 2021, but that was with Cliff, and like that team wasn't, they didn't have fire in their guts. Like they weren't killers. Like,
Mhm.
like they weren't killers, bro. Like simple as that. We backed into the right. We started out hot and then we backed into the playoffs. And in a chance, I know that I believe it was the Seahawks that lost, and so we knew if we beat the Rams, or no, I think it was the Rams that lost, and we knew if we beat the Seahawks in the final game
Yeah.
of the season, we win the
Yeah.
division for the first time in since
Yeah.
2015.
And they couldn't do it. Yeah.
Still we lost the
Mhm.
game at State Farm, and that's just pathetic, bro. Like I remember too, like after the game, Cliff was asked about it, and he was like, "Oh, like we had no idea." Like, bro,
All right.
they show the scores on the jumbotron. Like
He
everyone
is
knows
he's an idiot.
it was there, bro. But
Yeah.
anyways, we control our destiny this year. We might get a little bit of help. Like Dolphins just helped us, but dude, the Niners, they got Seattle at home, and then they travel to Green Bay a week later. Then
Yeah.
from Green Bay, they go to Buffalo, right? Like
Mhm.
at Buffalo. Then a week later, they come home against the Bears, layup. But then 4 days later, after the Bears game and after this long road trip, they get the Rams, which is a
Yep.
huge game because you know the Rams' backs are against the wall there. Then after that, they fly back out to Miami, and then after that, they got the Lions, and then us. So, bro,
Mhm.
that's a gauntlet. That is
Mhm.
not a very kind schedule. So that's just even more to the point of we control our destiny. Like,
Yeah.
and Corey, I saw the same thing. Those same 2 guys. I wasn't sure if you were going to mention anyone else as far as traveling, but yeah, Mac Trucks in Cabo, Melton's in Florida. I was hoping he had family out there, but he's from Jersey, so he's on vacation himself.
Yeah.
I know who's not. Like Kyler, maybe he'll go to like Texas or something, right? Like,
No, I
He
don't
might
think
go
he's
catch a
going anywhere.
Mavs game.
I don't think he's going anywhere, bro. I'm be honest with you. I think he's locked in at the crib right now.
I know that man's
And I think, and I was gonna say, I guess the good thing is that they're playing a division opponent coming off the bye. It's not like they're playing the Bears coming off the bye, or
Yeah.
like a team like that, or the Panthers.
Yeah, that's true. So like,
it's,
hey,
it's
just come
right
back
there.
locked in.
It's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, just come
Like,
back locked in. Let's see how we perform. And obviously JG,
mhm.
we've all bought into him, but it's his proven time. And the funny thing is, like, another thing I love about what we've seen so far for this football, I'm about to say football team. Oh yeah, football team is that like they're all saying the same message. They all have the same message. Like you guys saw when they college mic'd up, like season starts now. Like JG mentioned, season starts now. Like they all understand the purpose of how NFL seasons work, and being good through 10 weeks is nice and all, but you need to put it together in a full repertoire. So they understand that it goes forward and it continues on at this point right now.
2 questions for you boys.
Mm-hmm.
First is a little bit lighter. So I did notice in the mic, or it might have been Kyler's YouTube video or the mic'd up, one of the two. JG and Kyler are passing each other pregame. JG says, "I love you." Kyler says it back. How does that make you guys feel? That's the first question.
I think obviously you think Cliff loved Kyler, but I don't think like
I don't think
I think it's a different type of love. I think it's type of like a war for you love, and it's like
Right.
this is my coach love. Like this is a
Right.
war for you. Like this guy kind of embodies the type of person I want to be, and it's a different type of feeling than Cliff and his. Maybe I love you and I love this kid.
Like
Cliff probably like I love the talent, I love the quarterback, I love this but I feel like JG's kind of more so I love the person, and if you love the person, that person's gonna fight for you extra harder. So,
what about you, Shad?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like I kind of feel like as far as like Cliff versus JG, like that kind of relationship, obviously like towards the end of like Cliff's tenure, like that connection, that relationship started to kind of separate. So like, there's that, and this is new. We're winning. Like everybody's like on the same page. Like everything's come together how JG has expected it to come together. So like, I mean, everything's going good right now.
I personally, bro, I love it. Like I feel like anytime you can make it more than football within your team, I think that's when good things happen. That like gives me like the sense of like documentary, like movie type of feel. Like that's the shit, bro. Like it's like, because dude, like you think about it too. Like a guy like Hassan Reddick, like he was literally in JG's ear telling him like, basically what I can guess is bring me here next year. He went out. I think it was his name is King McManus on Twitter. He basically tweeted out that because he had tweeted out earlier in the week he bought front row seats on like the Jets bench, which honestly pretty savage move. I respect it. But he said after the game, Reddick sought them out and talked to them for like 10 minutes or so and was basically saying like, I know that the Bird Gang loves me. Like I want to play here next year. So, bro, there's none of that on our side of the field. Like the Cardinals, everyone wants to be here, right? Like everyone bought it. And it's like they do love each other, bro. And it's great to see when it goes from being a business to being a brotherhood, right? Put that on a t-shirt. Like that equals playoff wins, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So that was huge for me. And the second question was, not to put you boys on the spot, but you're coming out to my neck of the woods for Cardinals Patriots. Now I'm thinking if the Cardinals hold on, right? This is almost like a little bit of a friendly wager. If the Cardinals are able to hold on and win the division and get a home playoff game, what are the odds that we see back in the desert, bro? Back in the desert.
So that would be early January. I cannot lie to you. The odds would be low.
Give me a maybe, bro.
The odds will probably be low. That's like our personally like work time, busiest time. But if circumstances work out good for me, then gotta find a flight, just find a flight and tickets. That's all I need. But couldn't promise you anything right now. But I would love to be out there with you supporting. If my personal hope for you is that you'll be out there, and I know you'll be supporting just as hard as I would be. So
yes, sir.
I couldn't get mad at it.
I'll hold it down.
No, I'd probably say I'd try my hardest to find a reasonable flight to get out there. Because if I could get a flight for the right price, I'm definitely going to the game for sure.
Hey, if you guys can get the flights, bro, you guys always got a place to stay with me. So if there's a will, there's a way, man.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully, I'm so locked in on us. Like obviously the bye, as what's the name mentioned, the bye comes at a terrible time. Like because they're rolling right. I think Trapen probably said it. The bye honestly comes at a terrible time because they're rolling right now. But at the same time, like it's just so hard not to love this team and what they're doing right now. Just they're putting everything together, and you just gotta love to see it. Can't lie.
Sure.
Appreciate you, boys. I know this was a nice long one. Appreciate everybody that stopped through. Jake, as we mentioned before, so happy for you, brother. Getting to meet that guy and letting the world see your fandom and your passion. Just your passion is just the same as ours, and a lot of Cardinals fans out there, and a lot of Cardinals fans are blessed to be able to see Kyler Murray play. But, it's the behind the scenes stuff that makes the person the person. And I had that experience last year in Washington. You were able to get that experience with Shad. You're next. Hopefully, we find this Patriots game, and you get to experience Kyler. Getting salute him and shout him out, and getting some time with him. So appreciate you, boys.
Shout out to him for showing love too, for real, and putting you on the pod. I mean, on the vlog.
Yeah, they didn't have to stop. Like you mentioned, they drove away from you for a little bit, so they didn't have to stop, but they decided to. And like you said,
Yes,
was
sir.
able to show you love and like a real fan. So shout out to all the real fans, and hopefully one day Kyler can continue to meet up with other people and show himself like that. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate you boys. Yeah, and I think we'll take a break next week, refresh ourselves as well, and then we'll be back after the bye. Seattle, hopefully talking about 5 in a row. 12th man is always a tough place to play, but at the same time, I think this team could take it on the road and take the show on the road. And Seattle is everything wrong with Seattle is everything that's good with us right now. So it's like, interesting to see what type of matchup this will be and what type of things may happen. And with a week off, I know Kyler mentioned real quick. I know he mentioned in the vlog that he expected to see some adversity in this game happen, and being able to respond to it. I expected to easily see some adversity in the early part of the Seattle game, but if his mind is on that, like his mind is on that every week, just to understand that adversity is going to hit, but how do they respond to that adversity? And so that'll be fun to see, obviously, in the Seattle game. And I guess maybe I don't know how much time you all had left. Maybe 5 minutes about previewing that going real quick. Obviously, Seattle could look like an entirely different team from Sunday to now to then, but what do you all think about that quick Seattle game real quick before we head out?
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, I know you referenced the 12th man, but Seattle's 2-4 at home this year, so the 12th man might be dead. That's all I got to say. So,
you think anything else about this game, like any advantages, or
yeah,
you don't got to give a score prediction. I know it's early; they have to have a performance, so
no,
can't give a score prediction. But
we're not doing the pod next week. I'll throw in my score prediction. Yeah, like I said, I think the 12th man is a fraud this year. I think the 12th man is dead this year. I think we go in there and win by. It's a divisional game. They're going to be juiced. I'll say touchdown plus. I think it'll be closer, obviously, than this Jets game. I don't think it's going to be Miami close, but I say we win by a touchdown. Nice balanced game. I think Connor shines. Marv get in the end zone again. I'd like to see Tragan in the end zone. Yeah, Seattle though, like there was nationally high hopes for them this year, and I just frankly never really saw it. I mean, Geno Smith, he's pulling a Jameis Winston type of year, right? Like his touchdown to interception ratio is basically even, which is never a good sign. He's thrown for a ton of yards, like I want to say like 2,500 plus, which is crazy, but he's thrown a lot of picks. So, that just reminded me. One thing I got to mention, I called an interception in this last game against the Jets. We got the interception. Garrett Williams played it perfectly. But in the heat of a blowout game, of course, the refs wanted to keep it relatively close, keep it away from a mercy rule type of game, and they called it super soft. It was obviously just a totally botched call. The receiver tripped. Garrett never touched him at all. So that kind of sucked, but I think we definitely get at least one interception off Geno and touchdown plus. I'm going to say Cardinals a little bit closer, 27-17.
27-17. I like that. Sean, any thoughts about the
10-point
Seattle
win. Hey,
game?
I'll take that. I feel like I'm hoping that Seattle. First off, I'm hoping that Seattle beats the Niners this weekend.
Yep, same.
So that they're not coming in after 3 straight losses, hungry as hell against us. I mean, they're going to be hungry regardless, but that's just even more like backs against the wall vibes. I don't know. I'm going into Seattle's never really like scared me because obviously like BA's history with going up into Seattle, like we always did good historically like with him going up there. So I mean, I'm pretty confident that this team is going to keep playing like how they've been playing out the bye. Like I don't see any avenue for them to kind of fall off that quick. So really no crazy takes or really no I'm not leaning either way about this game right now. So I just kind of got to see how they play against San Fran and go from there.
Yeah, we'll give the division a rest from whooping their ass. 2-0 still in the division, so cannot wait for another division game. Cannot wait to talk about another Cardinals game and just enjoying the vibes of the season. And already enjoying more wins than we enjoyed last year on this podcast. So great to talk about wins and great to celebrate good performances from our guys. So appreciate you boys. We will catch everybody that came through on the next one. And another shout out to our Cards for having a great first half of the season, but gotta continue it. So appreciate y'all, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
All right. Appreciate you, boys.
Appreciate
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
All right.
You too.